Dostoevsky. Listen.
All right. Hopefully we are live. Excuse my mic. Sometimes you just don't get what you want. But you
But you
pay
get what
for
you
it. That's
need.
for fucking sure.
Love that song. Love that song. Good song.
Oh, did you boys happen to watch Guardians? I didn't know. Are we talking about that?
Oh yeah, I've not.
I
I've not seen
didn't,
that
but
yet.
I was actually gonna bring it up because, like, dude, I know like 3 or 4 people who went to go see that like in the last few days. Like, even my mom, who's not particularly into
Your
Marvel
mom
shit.
saw it?
Yeah, she bought tickets and went to go see it like Sunday. And I'm
Wow.
like, dude, that's why I put it as number 2 on my list. I feel like most people, like, even if they're not into Marvel, they'll go see
the
that just because it's
crossover
like
one.
some like quirky sci-fi movie, basically, you know?
Yeah.
That's I count it as like it's like Spider-Man for me. You know, it stands
Mhm.
outside the MCU bullshit. But
Yeah.
did you see it,
Yeah.
Matt?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I will see it this
What
weekend though.
the
If you guys want to talk next week.
I was thinking about
Yeah.
going to see it too.
Yeah,
So
I'd be down.
Mhm.
I'd be
Thinking
down.
about it.
I saw it, so I'll be ready.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Cool.
Nice,
Cool.
nice. First taste,
Yeah.
just no spoilers, no. Did you like it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, they've all been. I mean, the first one, good. Second one, not as good, but still good. Third one, on par with the first, in my opinion.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Good to hear.
There's
Sweet.
some things that kind of bring it down, but I mean, to be expected. It's not going to be the lightning in the bottle that is the
Too
first
many
one.
villains.
Yeah.
Spider-Man
What's that?
3 problem.
No,
Too
no,
many
it's-
villains.
I would.
Yeah.
Nah, we'll get into it. I don't want to. Yeah, I'll let you
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
it.
Yeah, we'll talk next week on Guardians for sure. But
Yeah. We sound good.
yeah.
Are we?
Yeah,
we sounding all
everything
right?
seems good. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
your mic comes through even better on the stream, so don't
Uh-oh.
even worry.
Oh, I'm still worrying. Don't worry.
So let's just. I mean, I think Alex needs to let out some anger. So should we just jump into the Disney Dunk Corner then?
Yeah, what
Start
you guys
Sure,
got
if you
anything
want.
this week? I didn't really look
Slamming
into
it.
Yeah, we
much.
were talking about it earlier. Just, I mean, I had looked up that, like, I guess they lost like 4 million subscribers in the last quarter, and then Matt just saw on Reddit, I guess, that they're
Yeah, I just saw like an hour ago. Apparently, they're gonna combine Hulu and Disney Plus. If that's
Is that like
legit,
official?
that's. I mean, it's on Reddit. So.
See, that's true.
Gotta be
Yeah,
official, right?
That's pretty much gospel. That's interesting. I mean, their last investment was what? Their last big investment was Star Wars, and that really didn't make much returns as far as I know, right? I mean, didn't they lose money on that IP?
I'm sure they made a
Yeah.
shit ton with just like the movies and
Well, like,
now the Star Wars land and shit. It's paying off, I'd say.
I guess,
for
like,
'em.
technically
Yeah.
they acquired like Lucasfilm, right?
Right.
And that
Mhm.
like
yeah.
encompassed Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Because I mean, like, I
Yes.
guess like they have like whatever else Lucasfilm had, but like realistically, I don't think that that's much. I mean, they're putting out the new Indiana Jones movie, but other than that, I think the only other thing that came with Lucasfilm was Willow, and they canceled that. So like,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not one of their babies, not their
Yeah.
darling.
So you're telling me that I have to get Disney if I want to keep my Hulu subscription, or are they just gonna give me Disney because I have Hulu? Which is which?
Yeah, it's probably gonna be like combining, and then they'd be like, well, you get both, but you just got to pay, like $2
right.
more.
Even
But,
though I've been paying the Hulu price my entire.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm wondering, like, if it's one app, that means you have to have a name for the app, right? It can't just be like ethereal Hulu Disney app.
Man, like I
Yeah.
feel like there's just too much like rebranding and changing of apps recently. Like
Really?
I'm just fucking over it. Like
HBO?
apparently HBO finally changes to Max like later this month,
Yep.
Yeah.
and I don't
Fucking
know.
Blue, man.
Everybody I've talked to about it is just like, why would you take HBO out of the name? Like that's the only reason I watch
Yeah.
it. Like
That's the
a
draw.
good
that's the only
point.
thing I care about. Like
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they're losing subscribers, like you say, I think they're just like trying to find the healthy
HBO is?
medium of like kids to adults in my service, like it's like they don't want Disney Plus to be failing, so they're like, well, we'll just fucking wrap it in with Hulu, and Hulu's doing pretty good,
Yeah.
And now Hulu's doing so good with all these kids. Like we have all these like
Yeah.
children's fucking programming. Like they're gonna just spin it that way. That's what I'm assuming.
Watch Paramount come out of the fucking woods and just obliterate everybody. Just like somehow.
look,
Low-key, I don't mind that
I don't
service.
have Paramount,
Yeah.
but I feel like from what I've heard about you guys talk about it and just like other people,
It's okay.
I don't know.
It's not bad.
It
There's
seems
some-
like it
there's
has
some
a
okay
decent
stuff
amount
on
of
there.
stuff. Like
They have like decent properties, which is to their advantage for
Yeah.
sure.
Sheridan kind of owns the mass IP for Paramount Plus.
I don't care about the Yellowstone universe at all. If I
Yeah,
did,
no.
it'd probably be a lot better streaming
I
service.
no longer care. It just is
Yeah.
like it caught on
Is-
fire, and now it's.
Let me ask you this about
bananas.
Yellowstone, because
Yeah,
there's
maybe.
something I've been struggling with. Is it going to be one of my shows like in my lifetime that I'm going to watch? Because I probably won't watch any of the spinoffs, but should I watch Yellowstone, or
I
is
haven't
it
watched any
even
of the
worth it?
spin-offs. I watched Yellowstone. I'm current because it's the mid-season finale because I got to finish it now. The problem I have
I
with
know.
Yellowstone is it's got good like drama, but the problem is they drop plot lines whenever it's convenient. And
Whenever
with,
Kevin
like,
Costner won't show up to set, and then drop him.
it's not even his plot lines. It's like the kids. They're like they add things to cause drama between two specifically, which is just annoying at this point. So that's where I'm kind of like sort of halfway checked out because all
Mhm.
the interesting
Soap
characters
opera.
aren't getting the light. It's just Beth and her brother that she hates because everyone loves Beth for some reason. Which I get it. Yeah, she's a badass, but like she's also kind of just a bitch, and I don't see why that's like praise. I mean, she treats everybody like shit. So,
Mm.
so yeah, I mean, it's fine.
Do
It's
I
not
need
like
to
I would go
watch
to
it?
somebody and be like, "Watch this fucking show."
I'm curious.
Mhm.
Change your
What
life.
is actually like the connect? I've never watched it, but what is the connection between like the show and actual like Yellowstone? Is it just like around there, or like I'm just
I
curious?
don't, I
Like,
don't think there's that much,
No,
is there?
it's just the
like-
ranch that they live on is Yellowstone
Yeah.
Ranch.
oh,
It's got nothing to do with
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone.
No, nothing to do with Yellowstone. Okay, gotcha. Well, I'm definitely not interested now. So like,
No.
Yeah.
I
I like
it's
Taylor
cool
Sheridan.
atmosphere, like cowboys and stuff, and Taylor Sheridan. He's good at writing. I prefer his movies. I think they're a little bit more condensed. He doesn't have as much freedom to do whatever the hell he wants.
Mhm.
And
Spreading himself too thin, it seems like now.
yeah, now he's just
But-
going buck wild, just like
Like,
spin off.
yeah, I have like Peaky Blinders, Boardwalk Empire, The Wire. These are the shows that I'm gonna eventually like watch in my
Yeah.
lifetime.
you
I'm
haven't
about to
watched The Wire?
take Yellowstone off my
Have you-
list, and I'm
have you
wondering
seen The Wire?
if I should.
I
I've,
haven't.
not-
Actually,
I've only seen like 2 episodes, and I was kind
I've
of.
been told by a bunch of people to watch it. I don't know.
It didn't hook me, which was kind of unfortunate. But I think if I'd try again, I'll probably be able to
This is
get into
okay.
it.
I've
Of the
given
ones you
this
said,
spiel
I'm kind of
before.
surprised you haven't watched that one.
I've seen like a season of The Sopranos too, and I got to finish The Sopranos.
Dude,
too.
that's the same
like,
with
a
me.
big
I've
thing.
seen one season and I just got burnt
Yeah.
out on it. Like
just-
I
it didn't-
should finish it, but like
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's unfortunate. I'll get to it eventually.
Yeah.
The Wire fucks. Okay, that's like top.
That's what I've
3
heard.
What I hear.
Series
I've
for
heard
me.
it's good.
So
Mm-hmm.
The
That's
Sopranos, I
yeah,
haven't
but
watched
okay,
yet.
but Yellowstone. I mean, that's not even.
I wouldn't even put it on the list. The only reason I watched it is because Sarah wanted to watch it, and she really likes it. But it's like, it's her type of show. I don't want to like say she has bad taste in shows because I mean she has a taste. in
listening.
Is she
shows.
watching right now?
Specific tastes.
She's like the
Good
One Tree
niche.
Hills, the
Busted Root.
like Bridgerton, those kind of melodramatic,
Yeah.
like super
Soapy.
absurd
Played
drama,
up.
soapy. Yeah, there you go.
Mhm.
I mean,
All right.
and that's fine.
I'll take it off the list as of right now.
You can still check it out. I mean, the first season is okay, but
Yeah.
I mean, there's no
Then it goes
problem in
down.
checking it out.
I
I
don't
just
know.
don't think it's like a
Get
show you
lull,
should
Matt.
watch before you
Just turn it
die.
on. I don't know.
I'm forcing myself through Twin Peaks right now, and I'm like questioning
Yeah,
if
how's
I
it
should even.
Why are you
Finish?
doing
Is
that?
that
David Lynch is
bad?
overrated.
Damn.
Honestly, I mean,
Yeah.
I agree, but there's nuggets in there that I like in Twin Peaks, but
Yeah.
Okay,
it's so
I don't know, 'cause,
fucking
like,
drawn out.
that's crazy.
insane.
I don't know. I feel like I've heard from a lot of people that they like that, but like maybe they're just I don't
It's
know.
a
Maybe they just
cult-
have particular
cult following.
tastes. I don't know.
I
Mhm.
think
I'm in
it's-
season 2, and it's 22 episodes,
Yeah.
45 minutes of just straight soap opera bullshit, and it's like, and then at the end, it's like, was there a demon watching the whole time? Like, yeah, it's like that.
Yeah.
Every episode.
it
Yeah,
just
I
has
would
its
say-
niche
I feel like when you
audience
have that
praise
many
it.
episodes, like
Yeah.
it's just like hard to.
Too much. That's what killed the show when it was on air. It was like too long of that second season, and then now they brought it back like 5 years ago for like an 18 episode
Guys,
season.
we got to get back to Disney.
We've strayed from the path.
Oh,
Hey,
I
we went to
watched
Yellowstone.
I watched. Well, I watched some of the new season of Star Wars Visions.
Yeah, how
2
was that?
episodes.
What do you think,
What
Matt?
is it?
It kind of washed over me with like minimal excitement, but they were cool. But
I mean, I
it's-
feel like the animation is pretty decent so far. I feel like the storylines are okay. I'm definitely getting Love, Death, and Robots vibes.
They're trying.
But I still like feel some Disney ick. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just
That's
I
Star
don't
Wars,
know. I don't
Disney,
know what it is.
whatever they mixed. Whenever they
Yeah.
mixed, like they formed this weird goo. It
Mm.
has like a weird stink to it. And anytime now they
Yeah.
release a project, it's like
It's that Disney
it doesn't
cheese.
smell quite right. Yeah.
Stanky Disney.
Yeah.
I get that. I mean, I'll probably finish it. I honestly
I
hope
will
they don't
too.
make another season because these
Yeah.
shows, I'm just like, I try to finish them and watch them and keep up because I like them and I liked them when it started.
Mm.
But especially these Star Wars shows, man, I don't give a shit anymore.
There's no heart
I'll watch
anymore.
Andor.
mean,
People
it-
keep saying that show's
Dude,
great.
why did you start Visions and not start Andor?
Yeah, because it's like Andor's like 13 episodes or
And
some
you're
shit
watching
too.
Twin
and it's
Peaks? What the fuck,
That's
Matt?
my
Like
life.
I have to trudge through Twin Peaks land, and then I'll get to a better show. And that's where I'm at right now.
I don't know. Look, I love Star Wars. I like some stuff about Star Wars. But like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just getting tired of the ick, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's just too much. Too much Star Wars.
They've bastardized
Just
it.
tone it down. And then I'm gonna be okay with it. Like, I don't know.
But what will you do in that week where you don't have Star Wars? There's nothing on. That's
Dude, like
Star
what
Wars
I'm
re-
saying, like put out a new Star Wars thing like once a year. That like
yeah,
that's
once
like
every 4 years, 3 years, dude. I don't give a
exactly. Like
shit.
Yeah.
I feel like
Special,
1
man.
year is like I don't know, just
Well,
Crazy.
didn't
Take some
they come
time,
out
I
and
don't know.
say that? Like, even with the Marvel shit, they're like, "Hey, we're gonna pace ourselves now
We're
and stop
so
trying to
damn-
mm,
dump
Yeah,
everything." It's gonna be
yeah.
like,
Oh,
fuck.
every
I think that was when
1 year.
the CEO
That didn't
switched
work.
or whatever again
Oh,
or something.
when what's his
Yeah.
name came back? Iger.
I think
Eager?
Yeah, they're trying to reinvest the like fucking. You know, what's the funniest one that I've seen now with all this like writer strike stuff is Blade being like delayed. It's like, oh yeah, because the
I
writer
did
strike,
hear
Blade's
that,
getting
yeah.
delayed again. It's like,
Not that they
yeah,
switched
yeah,
writers
whatever you need to
69
blame,
times.
bud. Like
Yeah.
for that shit movie, because I was very excited about that movie when I first heard
Yeah,
about it, and I
It was
am
announced.
You see
dreading
who's
that
writing
movie.
it now?
Yeah, Nick
Nick
Pizzolatto,
Piletti or whatever?
Pizzolito, True Detective guy.
I don't
Why
oh,
would-
okay.
Why are
Okay.
these like
Hmm.
auteur directors and writers stooping to
Well,
such
like,
levels?
The guy who is cast for Blade, I mean, he was
Money.
in the 3rd season of True Detective, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I mean, maybe they just
Roped
know
him
each
in.
other.
Yeah,
Maybe
he's like,
yeah,
I
hey,
don't
you know
know.
who's a good writer? I can fucking get him.
I mean, like, I'm not saying it's
get this
good. Like,
overhauled.
literally,
like,
what I brought up last week about that episode of Barry and like Chloe Zhao, like
Mhm.
Yeah.
relation with that
That's
episode.
funny,
I mean,
yeah.
like, it doesn't matter. Like, the Disney X gonna be all over it. Like,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And once
But,
you
you
touch
know.
it, it sticks on you.
I mean,
Can't get
if
it
you
off.
want to move on to the strike, like on our itinerary, we can just
yeah,
do
for
that.
sure.
And go back
I
to the next two things.
mean, it's still ongoing, obviously, and I hear this one's about to be like another long haul one because the sides are so far apart on the agreements.
Yeah.
Man,
And I hear potentially, if it goes long enough, the the SAG and the DGA, the Directors Guild, they renew all their contracts this summer. And right now, everybody's saying that they're going to stand with the writers, which means that all three of those will be striking at the same time, which would put a lot more like stress onto the
Yeah.
industry. So, and I think that's the first time ever that would happen, and that'd be pretty cool. I mean, it's going to suck, obviously, but
man, I
think that
feel
would
like that's
be
a good thing because, like,
necessary.
immediately my thought when you said like a longer time frame, like we were talking about the AI thing, I feel like that would, I don't know, the longer it took without like what you just said with the directors and actors like sticking with the
Mhm.
writers, like if that didn't happen, I think it would be more likely that people would push AI more for
yeah.
writing and
Mm.
shit.
Mm.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well,
Yeah.
like that was not even really like a big line until like it was like blown up when people were like, "You're not going to really do that," and then like the studio heads were like, "Well, we'll see. We'll like give you what is it? They're like, we'll give you a yearly teaching on like new technology." That's literally what they came back with, like as a counter for like them to say, like, don't do any AI work or anything like that. It's literally like a middle finger. So like,
Yeah.
that's where everyone's going to be digging their heels in now, I think, even more so than just like pay, which I mean, that should be obviously like reinforced. But now it's like a fucking like creative like upheaval of
War.
like,
Yeah.
I mean, standards, Which, I mean, if you're really a studio head thinking like, I got this IP, I don't need a fucking writer to make it good. Somebody's gonna click on this and I'm gonna make my fucking check. Like, dude, you're an idiot. Because like that's why all these things are condensing, and it's like there's a burnout happening on these streaming services with your content, and now you're like struggling to find like the balance of it all. And if you really think like terrible writing is going to be the key to like hooking people again, that's just a very short-sighted way to make your buck back.
At this point, they should get it. Like, it won't work. I mean, bad writing, if you don't have good writing, you don't have good content, period. I mean, you can get the best fucking directors or whatever, but if the writing, the source material, the heart of it
Polishing
isn't
a
there,
turd.
I mean, yeah, you're
We
just
can
sitting there trying
Disney
to fix
if you
something
want.
that's already broken,
Back to the Disney dunk if you want.
It's, and that's
As far as
that's the
bad writing.
thing. It's like, I don't know. And
Seems
that's what
like
makes
most
like
streaming
movies,
services.
like the example with like if we're going back to Disney here, I mean that's why I set the Guardians and like the Spider-Man aside, because Sony owns most of Spider-Man, so you can kind of feel where it's like, oh, this is actually taking itself seriously. With Guardians, it's obviously James Gunn had full control over this third one specifically, so it feels different because it's not just the studio being like, no, we
Somebody
need to hit
bending
this
over.
this joke, this joke, this joke, and we need to undercut this serious point, this serious point, this serious point. Oh, this is too dark. Take it out. Let's add something lighthearted. It's just like,
Yeah. Look at the flow chart of our last 20
Yeah.
movies and all the jokes. You see the ups and the downs? We need to hit this formula. Like,
yeah. No, and yeah.
I bet they do shit like that
They
too.
probably
Which is
do,
crazy.
I bet they do, yeah.
Kind of gross.
Mm-hmm.
They got the chart on the wall.
Yeah, you got a fucking PowerPoint going through each one.
Clearly that's not working. So they can't just hire any old schmo, say, look at that chart, learn it, become that
Yeah.
chart.
Yeah.
Have you guys
Yeah.
ever like listened to like an AI written thing at all? Like Corridor Crew does a lot of AI stuff, and if they try to like prompt it and stuff, and it sounds like a 8-year-old, maybe an 8-year-old who like is like grasping at like meaning with nothing to like back it up. Like
Right.
it's crazy. And like if
So
that's
you're
really if you
saying-
want copy pasted like meaningful quotes of a movie, no one's gonna like movies in 10 years. Like that's
So
gonna
you're
be sad.
saying the Obi-Wan show was the test for AI at Disney?
It wouldn't surprise me honestly if they like
Holy
have
shit.
tried a couple like tests of the like. That's
Yeah.
why they're like, oh, that kind of worked. Obi-Wan got a fuck. It's still people liked it enough. Like,
Fucking
Yeah.
AI, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't know if you want to like Corridor Crew is me and Joe were talking about over the weekend, but that's like the one example of like how the line is kind of blurry, because I would love AI assisted like editing tools and stuff like that, where it's more intuitive to like my brain patterns of like, just cut it for me. You know how I want it, but baby, it's like, yeah, I'd love that.
There's
but-
one of those, by the way, for podcasts.
I've seen like some people messing with like audio being like telling the AI to cut when you hear a higher volume.
Are
So, like,
we
then it
switching to
cuts to-
AI?
Then it cuts to the person with the bigger volume, which is like a nice little workaround, I guess, because then you'll have to like little
Yeah.
trims and stuff like that. But
When I was talking
I'm-
about editing with my buddies, they said that, he's like, oh, have you heard of this? It's just completely AI. You dump in your audio and your video files and it cuts it up for you.
Hmm.
So,
I mean, that'd be nice, I guess, as like a simple first edit. And you'd obviously want to like go through it still, I think,
Right.
to make it tasteful, because I obviously an AI doesn't know everything. That's like, but what they did for their controversial video was that they filmed themselves making anime rock paper scissors was the video, and then they basically fed it into an AI art generating system that they then found a pipeline to make it that they can like translate the next frame into the next frame, so like it kind of knows how to create a sequence. You know what I'm saying? So they fed it art from an old anime in like 95 or some shit that no one has ever heard of. I never heard of it. And they basically said, draw it, like that. And then it's basically like an AI filter on their whole video. But
Mhm.
they're people saying that they stole the art. They didn't draw anything themselves. They haven't credited the like people, like nobody from that anime is getting any credit, obviously. So I don't know. But that's like where do you draw the line of like AI assisted tools to like help you and like actual creative like juice from a person?
Input.
There's a clear distinction for me there where they filmed it and stuff like that. But I can understand like a deviant art person who is like, dude, I've been drawing shit online for fucking 15 years, and now plus somebody can just put their profile picture and make it. Like,
Right.
I mean, I get that, and I'd be pissed, and I don't know how you would ever get compensation for that, but
I mean, an example of that is like, look at the animated Disney shows. They used to be hand drawn, right? I mean, the movies, they used to be hand drawn. And I mean, for some reason, you can just tell the human touch on those things. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
So it's just,
Yeah, we've all
it
seen that
matters.
episode of Atlanta about the Goofy movie, right? I should not be plugging that.
that's a good episode though.
It is a good episode, yeah.
It is.
Yeah, but I mean, their video too is kind of wonky. Like, it's clear like the AI hasn't fully figured out how to do it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the conclusion that they came to, because I think they're going to do it again, but they said that, and I was like, this is a good, healthy medium right now, because they said they're going to have like hire an artist to draw style sheets for all their characters and their backgrounds and stuff like that. So then basically they've built it all in house, the style in house, and then they're going to tell the AI to replicate their style.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like a nice workaround, I guess, to not get like copywritten, I guess, eventually. But
yeah,
I don't know. I'm just curious because I think AI is like inevitable in some ways for industries, especially, you know, the creative industry is not one that can withhold itself, I'd say, because when I edit, it's like I'm fucking throwing my brain against a fucking wall because it's so slow and tedious. And I'm like, dude, I just wish I wish this was faster. Like, but I want to still be there hands on to do it. So I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, no, I feel you there. I mean, it would be nice. It's just, like I said, it's just something about having a human touch. You kind of just, I don't know, you feel it.
You need it. And I mean, especially for like writing, going back to like the WGA, like if you're really not having like a human person at the heart of this, then like, what are you making? Like, why are you making it? Like, what is this for? Who's it for?
It's like a human story, right? About humans
that's
or
what
something.
movies are, right?
Gotta have humanity instilled in it somewhere. Can't just.
But you got to make that money, guys.
Yeah. And you're going to shortchange the writer at the beginning of the process. Like, you know, we really fucking.
Yeah,
we can find our buck right at the beginning, you know, and then we still spend the same amount of money after. Like, dumbasses, dude.
That's what's fucked is like I could see AI, like the YouTube space seems like the space where it might flourish because that's all, you know, clickbait, fucking block content, you know, that kind of can get pushed to the forefront. But hey, maybe look why we're here. Why we're here.
Anyways, you want to move on? I just have a couple. They're not like big news, but I was like, that's kind of exciting when I saw the stories. Andrew Garfield's going to play Carl Sagan in a biopic.
Really?
Saw that they're announcing that.
Yeah, I think that'll be kind of neat.
Yeah, Carl Sagan's a cool guy.
And
Interesting
I like
guy.
Garfield. I don't know.
Yeah, Garfield's underrated.
Yeah, I think him in that role too, I could see doing pretty well. The only kind of thing I'm worried about is, have you guys seen The Theory of Everything? I hope it's not like too schmaltzy and kind of lame. I kind of hope it's like Carl Sagan-y and sciencey cool. That's just what I like want it to be interesting.
I agree,
It'd be like it really needs. I feel like it needs to nail the like emergent voice of like the cosmos. You know what I mean? Like really digging into like the first guy to like educate the masses on space and make it fun. Actually, yeah, because that'd be exciting. I'm like the fact that he's playing it. It kind of makes me
probably
excited.
with like a bunch of Voyager stuff too.
Them sending the there's gonna be like different
cool.
like launches and stuff. I'm sure
historical stuff. Yeah, that'd be sweet.
The only other one I saw was Beetlejuice 2 is gonna actually be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, like
Beetlejuice.
So like, wait, what did you say?
They put the fishing pole into the content water, and then they're like,
probably
back as Batman, back as Beetlejuice. What the fuck?
He was like Vulture in like Marvel shit. Like,
I
don't know,
the
like
Spidey.
5 or 6. Yeah. He probably just needs money, dude.
Making that buck.
Yeah,
but I don't know. So like, is this like the first time it's been confirmed?
I think it's been in the works for a while, but now they actually have like everybody like probably signed.
I mean,
on.
Look,
they hired
after,
what's her face? Who was just in Wednesday? Who's like now Dark Girl, Jen Ortega.
Whatever.
She's gonna be Beetlejuice, which I
She's
guess makes sense.
Beetlejuice? Wait, hold up.
She's gonna be in. She's probably gonna be the
Oh.
Winona Ryder character. I mean,
From
who's
what I
like
looked
the-
up, she's like, yeah, she's either her daughter or like she is that character. I don't know.
Oh,
That's
Probably,
a weird pick
yeah.
for her
Beetlejuice.
daughter.
To the prequel. Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know. Like after Hocus Pocus 2, I feel like this was the obvious choice to pick if you're going to make another sequel for a movie that came out like, in the 80s or 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, is it Disney related too? Or is it not owned by Disney?
do they own it? No,
It's a good question.
they will soon. If not,
You looking
now.
it up, Noah?
Yeah.
Did you guys see the new Trench? The Meg 2 Trench trailer?
Yeah, I was kind of
Uh,
disappointed, honestly.
Really?
I was hoping for
just-
like better creatures than just more Megs. I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw
Like a
an
Loch Ness
octopus,
monster or something?
but
Yeah,
Like a really
Yeah.
big alligator or something? I
okay,
don't know.
cool. Squid. Wow.
Yeah,
there
giant
was one,
squid.
there
Yeah.
was one squid.
Right?
Make
There
this
was a
shit
squid.
Godzilla,
Oh, I didn't
dude.
see
If
a
you're
squid.
going with big sea creatures, like
Honestly,
what the fuck?
just
Yeah.
make it part of the Zilla universe. The
Yeah.
Kyrie.
It looks
Pretty
fun
sick.
enough, but
Did you guys know that those were based on books?
Really?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Any
There's
wrote
like
them?
7 books in this series.
7 Megs. Wow.
Damn.
What
Just
the-
a
hopefully
pocket
they're
of Megs
faithful.
that survived the.
I didn't
fucking-
even see the first one. Like, how did it show up?
Yeah, me neither.
Did, like some underwater cavern.
I
Like I
remember,
don't know. Was
dude.
there?
There was
Right.
there was like this
something,
fog
the inner
at the bottom
core.
of the ocean down here, and they were like, "Oh, look at this! Let's see what's underneath there." And they got on there like, "Whoa, it's so cool down here!" But then they opened a pocket big enough to where the Meg zipped out of there. It was like a prehistoric
Oh,
bullshit
shit.
that's under there.
Yeah.
So
An egg sack of Megs.
Yeah,
Prehistoric
much.
eggs. Yeah. Damn.
but yeah, it was like preserved in the ocean because there was this cloud of whatever you want, a magical.
Meg dust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meg does.
So
Hey, I'm
I
a
don't know,
sucker
I
on
mean, it
Shark
I'm just
Week.
picturing,
as
like,
fuck.
the Meg
But-
2, they're just like really highlighting how the Meg is like overeating fish. Instead of because like I don't know, I've
Yeah.
read like I don't know, like a year ago I was reading about how like overfishing has really been like fucking the ocean. Like I'm
Yeah.
like there's like multiple levels of like underwater, ocean life. And
hierarchy.
they're just like ripping the shit out of all of it. So like I don't
Yeah.
know. You could tie in some kind of metaphor with the Meg
yeah.
overeating.
Yeah, for sure. Make the Meg a metaphor for humanity.
Yeah, right.
It's
Gotta
gluttonous.
save the Meg.
Gotta save the Meg. Dude, like on
you-
Shark Week, I was all in. They did like mile chum slicks down like the European and African coast, like just seeing if like tracking the Meg by satellite. Like they're like there's a big shadow in the Indian Ocean. And
We're
a
gonna
week later,
find
it's
it.
over in this ocean. Like nothing could travel that fast unless it's this big. And yeah, I was like, I'm in. If there's
By
a
the
Meg
end of the
out there,
show, they're like, we still haven't found it, but dang it, we're close.
we're chumming.
Man,
we're out here.
That kind of
chumming
reminds
still.
me. I remember, like, I don't know, probably when I was still in high school, I was watching the Discovery Channel one time, and they had this like special. I was watching it like as it aired about mermaids,
I
and,
saw
Oh
that.
yeah.
I
dude,
saw
it
that.
seemed like they're like actually like this
Yeah.
is
Found
like
'em.
real. They like they did not say this is not real. Like I don't know, there was
Right.
nothing in it about how it was fictional, and I'm like, what the fuck what am I watching right now?
How they
Listen
get
to
you.
that.
Mermaids
Yeah.
are real? Like I don't know, it's weird.
They were for a week.
Yeah,
And that's
Yeah.
what they wanted.
fucking weird.
Yeah.
Sirens, they're out there.
Yeah,
No, Beetlejuice 2, Warner Bros. Warner Bros. Oh, apparently.
gotcha.
Mm.
Okay. Well, they'll probably just pull into Disney,
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, they're farming
Without
content just like
focus.
everybody else.
Yeah,
They're about to do another Harry Potter series. I mean, what's
You know,
that?
so I am curious. We were talking about it like,
Ugly.
oh yeah, that's some bullshit. But so like, is Warner Bros. Acquiring Discovery, or is it the other way around?
I think it's the other way around. Discovery.
Gotcha. Because I
Acquired
always
them.
thought that it was Warner Bros. Like buying Discovery, but like
The
I-
CEO
'cause I
of
would
Discovery
assume-
is like calling the shots now, and that's why.
that's
he, like,
because I
cut
remember you
Batgirl
guys
and
talking
all
about that like
bullshit.
last week. I thought,
Yeah.
but like I
Mm.
don't know. I guess like I just wonder like how. But I don't know. Maybe that's not for me to
Well,
worry
Just
about. I
push
guess.
numbers around. It all
Yeah.
makes sense.
With
Bro,
Discovery
Succession
too, I
deals.
mean, they probably make money hand over fist because it's just reality shit. So it's not like it's big budget productions. It's just like
That's a
get
good point.
handheld out there, and
Because they don't
watch
have to put
people
that much
fuck
money
around.
in, but they take
Yeah.
as much
Mhm.
money. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of revenue. That's why the CEO is
Swallowing
like
shit.
all for like reality shit, but when someone comes to him with an idea of like a movie or something, he's like, nope, can it? You know.
Damn.
So
I haven't watched
Yeah.
a movie in 10 years. So I don't fucking like
Yeah.
movies anymore.
it's
I
I'm
feel like
gonna
that's
watch
Watching
right.
Deadliest
reality.
Catch only.
Yeah.
20 years.
Ice Road
Is it about
Truckers.
the mermaids? No.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Let me
Holy
tell you
fuck.
guys something about trucks and ice. All right.
Just
Shit's
curious.
slick.
Where is like the
Good
History
shit.
Channel? Like what does that fall under? Just curious.
I don't know, actually.
I think that's Disney too. No, like Nat Geo and History. I want to say maybe.
I
Could be
just
wrong.
like I remember there was a
Disney.
point when I stopped
Mhm.
watching the History Channel because it turned into a bunch of reality TV garbage.
Ancient
like-
Aliens.
Monsters,
And yeah,
bro.
Ancient Aliens, dude. Like I could go on and on
Monstars.
about that. That show is
American
entirely
Pickers.
fake. They have all of their information is falsified. Like they just
Yeah.
come up with they make random
Random ass
artifacts.
experts.
That guy seems so
Yeah.
believable when he says,
Oh, the fucking aliens guy with the hair, like aliens. Like
Yeah.
fuck that show, dude.
I've seen
I don't know.
Stargate. I believe it.
Fucking
I
He's
believe
really
it.
passionate about that. So
It pissed
that
me
really-
off. That was like my descent after like, because I loved the History Channel as a kid. Like
I did
I
too.
liked learning
Yeah.
about shit, and like
Yeah.
that was like the tipping point for me when I stopped watching History Channel because like I figured out they're fucking falsifying all their
Wait a
information. Like
minute.
I don't know, man.
They
Like,
might as well
aliens
acquire
didn't
drunk
talk to
history.
Hitler?
I don't know, just
This
fucking-
is
dude,
not-
like no, like legit. There was like I watched this like 3-hour long fucking 4-hour long video on YouTube. Like debunking the whole first season, like all of their facts and shit. Yeah, it was like a dude with like multiple PhDs. He brought in like other experts, like in his
Yeah,
show. Like,
Yeah.
Bro,
and I'm just like,
History,
I don't know.
History Channel is owned by A&E Networks, and A&E
Oh.
Networks is owned by Disney.
Motherfuckers. Fucking course.
Think
Yeah.
the little tendrils
Fucking
and everything,
aliens.
huh? Those bastards.
Yeah, seriously.
Soon they'll be feeding you lunch,
Yeah.
the Disney lunches. But you'll have
I-
Mickey Mouse.
I was
You
gonna
guys
say,
want to
come
move
with a
on
toy?
to
They
Come
Ted
with a toy?
Lasso, I guess.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
just get into some shit, right?
The good stuff.
It always like we just like fucking dunked it, like went down the court, was like
Get
bullshit,
dunked.
and then we're like, wait a minute. Let's get one more dunk.
Wait a minute. We're
Ah.
not done yet, bitch.
Just too tempting.
What you guys been watching recently? We kind of just breezed over
Oh,
that.
Oh yeah, I have actually been watching a lot.
Same.
Not
So
much for me.
I started watching
Yeah.
Glow. Shay told me to watch that, so I'm in like the second season.
That's good.
I watched Star Wars Visions. Watched Barry.
Yeah,
I watched
caught up
all
on
of the
Barry.
Bear. So from last week, we're
Oh.
talking about it. I liked that a lot, actually. I really did.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I had talked to you, Matt, about it. I think this weekend. But like, I was thinking about where Bob Odenkirk could fit in, like as a character. And I think my guess is either drug related or he's like their uncle. Because like in like the first or second episode, the sister says he should just sell the place to their uncle, and I don't think he was ever like referenced anymore in the show. So
Hmm.
those are my
Pretty
two
cool, man.
guesses. I don't know.
I think I'd like the family angle a little bit more just because it'd add to
Mhm.
like
It's
Carmine, like their dynamic. Yeah.
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 I think that would be good.
Yeah.
It'd be
feel like
nice
there
to
was
bring in
something
like a
else.
family member too. Now that they're missing, he's missing one, obviously, his brother.
Mhm.
So.
Mhm.
I thought there was something else too that I had been watching, but I guess not. I don't know. Maybe I'll think.
I
about
caught
it,
up
but
on Barry,
done.
and I'd say it's worth it if you guys are questioning it, or if you're
I
just like,
still
man,
got-
Barry,
yeah.
Barry, it's good. It's very
Good show.
entertaining and very different show, and
Yeah.
I'm actually excited for how they're wrapping it up. I didn't think I would be that
Dude.
excited, but it's solid. It's very
Exactly
solid.
the same as me. I didn't really know how to feel going into the season because season 3 was like kind of meh for me.
Mhm.
But
I know
That's
what-
how I
That's
feel.
good.
I'm halfway through season 3, and it came to a stall because it stopped
Yeah.
because it's just kind of like it's
Yeah,
okay.
where are we going? Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right at the end of the season 4, it hooks into like the end game, and then right at the
Oh,
end of
yeah.
season 3, I guess. Did I say that right? But yeah,
yeah, I feel like it was probably just plot. Like they needed to get somewhere in season 3.
Right. I mean,
And
it's
they
like, how do
just
you
had to
top the
take
first
this
2
show.
seasons? You know,
Mhm.
like how do
Yeah.
you follow that? It's kinda hard.
Intensity. Yeah.
I know Bill Hader like took a break and like rewrote a lot of this
Yeah.
last season too, which
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of like wondering where he did, and I'm curious, but
I
think it's
season
good.
3 is when he started the rewrite.
was it?
because they had to like pause production because everything
There was a
shut
lot
down.
of time in between those 2 seasons. Yeah.
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 And I think he said he decided to do a rewrite then, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, it makes sense because
I could
it's
see
like,
it.
where do you take that show in the end?
Right.
And I think he
How?
planned an ending here now where it's good. It's a good thrust for the final season. I'll say that. But
Cool.
yeah, so that's really all I watched last week. I didn't really watch too much.
I watched the entirety of Beef.
Oh, I did finish that actually.
Yeah.
That show. What do you think?
I wish that the show had more of the last 3 episodes in it. You know what I'm saying?
Really? I thought it kind of petered out a little bit towards the end, but
Really? See, I don't like the
I
whole
love that show though.
Paul, Ali Wong's character, Amy. I don't like their dynamic. I think that was kind of, I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, it's
wasn't a
definitely
huge
weird.
fan.
But
Yeah.
yeah. I like Paul as a character though. So
Yeah.
I think that's what carried it. But
It came through into some wild twists and turns. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it was,
oh my god,
as far as Netflix material, it was solid. It was just
it's
kind of like,
A24, so
yeah.
you
So
know
I mean,
they're gonna stand by it.
it's quality. I just wish it had more of those last 3 episodes. It seemed like it in the middle. It was just kind of like, all right, let's kind of just get our footing, and then take off. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, I wonder if I think they have a season 2 planned, or the dude said he like planned for 3 seasons. If they bring it back, he could write 3 seasons, which pretty solid. Yeah, I mean, to me, those 2 characters are some of the like better characters I've seen written in a long time. They're not very likable, but that's kind of why I like them. You know, like.
Right.
But
Well,
they're like soulmates. Oh, 100%, dude. They're like easily relatable if you're just, I don't know, if you're a person that struggles with life. I'd say that, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Anybody who, except I think that Steven Yeun's character is better, more relatable than Amy's character. I don't know. Amy was just kind of starting to be just a dick.
She's a wild card.
Yeah. But
I mean, Yeun is too, but in
like,
more contained way.
Yeah, he was more grounded because he's like, down on his luck, trying to like claw his way to the top. But like the root cause is, their childhood, not necessarily the sins of your fathers, but the sins of what you set up for yourself. Like what he said at the end when he's like, you make some choices and then you end up here. It's like,
here.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, those 2 characters too. I like how they talk about like matching souls or something like that in the show, and clearly like these 2 main guys are like they're meant for each other in some weird fucked up way. They're like the same, so it's cool. Yeah, I mean that's one of my top shows of the year so far, personally. Man.
It's pretty good.
Check it out. Yeah.
How many episodes are there?
10.
Okay.
They fly by though. I mean, we watched it in 2 days.
Okay.
Nice.
They're like 30 minutes, 40-minute episodes, I think.
Yeah, I added it to my list.
I think I've done like watching other stuff, but I know Matt, you talked about it a lot. So
yeah,
even Yeun, I think that might be my favorite role of his I've seen.
He's so good in it. Like, I don't know, him in that and in Nope. I mean, come on, give this guy some sauce because
he's so good. From a bone.
I don't really care for Ali Wong, but like it was.
She was
like,
good in it.
Yeah, she was pretty good.
I think it's just a character.
Yeah, it might be that. I don't know. Steven Yeun's character was just so good and well performed that it just kind of overshadowed her character. But she did good. Don't get me wrong. I just, not a huge fan. But
I liked her husband a lot too. I thought that guy did a pretty good job.
Yeah. And he's cleaning up the piss, and he's like, "Well, maybe he had a black problem."
Yeah. I'd watch that show though. Definite recommend.
I also saw Sisu. That was fun.
Nice. Yeah, I'll probably wait for that one to come out and watch it eventually.
Yeah, I mean, the main character doesn't say anything until he has the last
Not
line
one
of
word.
the movie, and it's in Finnish. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It was good though. Just it was fun. It
Basically John Wick, right? I mean,
well, sort of. It was confident knowing that this guy is doing things that is completely absurd and surviving things, and it like was self-aware
leans
of
into it a
that.
little more.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
And instead of
the trailers was bonkers. So
yeah. And instead of like, it's the boogeyman, it's they're like, he's immortal is pretty much how it is. And like, I don't know,
he's gonna get his gold back or whatever.
When the end happens, you're like, okay, yeah, they knew what they're doing here. It's completely bananas, but yeah,
Nice,
it was fun.
nice.
Definitely
Cool.
fun.
I've only finished Better Call Saul. Final
Hell
season.
yeah.
Finished that.
Nice, man.
Wow.
How'd you like the ending?
I really liked it. I thought it was like completely what Saul deserved in the end, you know?
Yeah.
It like left him in the place where like you always knew kind of where he was going, which
Mhm.
was nice. I thought they built up to it super well too with the mall stuff. Like it was so grating, like watching him and being like, "This is what you're doing with your time now, dude." Like,
Yeah, it's like sad where he's
Yeah.
fallen to.
yeah. And then Kim as well. You're like, "Oh shit, Kim is like
Dude, oh my
living
god.
this pedestrian ass life
Yeah.
now." Like,
Mhm.
Doing a puzzle, our dipshit boyfriend's just like sitting in the other room.
yeah.
Talking about Miracle
Oh.
Whip as like their
What do you think?
gay.
We try it? Yeah. Should we try it? Should we give it a shot? I don't know. What do you think? So yeah, just so like muddling. Yeah.
Yeah.
So talk
But
about
the-
great
yeah.
writing, though. I mean, that's
Right.
just an example how meticulous those episodes were. It's just I don't know.
The
Yeah.
Cinnabon episode where he's like talking with Jerry
Yeah.
every
Just
night or whatever.
timing is
Yeah,
fucking-
kind of. That's so
yeah.
fun. It's like boring to some people, I guess, but like that show can make anything. Like those creators can make anything interesting. I feel like.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. It was cool seeing his change into like just more of the criminal that you kind of like knew he was.
Yeah.
Falling
like,
back,
starting D&D,
slipping
like,
Jimmy.
Yeah, slipping Jimmy. Yeah.
Fucking
So-
Jimmy.
Nice.
But it was cool. I loved how it ended. He was basically like talked this deal out of them.
He
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Down to,
Right.
like,
It's like
8 years or
holy
whatever.
shit, like they
Yeah,
like
they
a
really
ridiculous
bought
deal,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, like he pulled the wool over their eyes like big time. And then ended up still getting like the 80 whatever years. It's like, yeah, okay.
Mhm.
It's fair.
fucking
the
awesome,
shit.
man.
Yeah. But his speech was like good. You know, that was my introduction to Walter White, you know,
Mhm.
bag over the
Like, he
head.
could have sold it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's
Yeah.
believable from a human standpoint, but this guy,
Yeah.
it's like the history of this guy is just you can't ignore it.
Yeah.
So shitty. But yeah, like probably one of the most satisfying ends because like it goes that way, and like just cool to see, like the last moment in the court. Basically, he just wanted Kim to be there. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's the Bonnie and Clyde of that relationship that
Yeah.
I appreciate at the end of the day too. So
I
Yeah.
really liked how much they went into like Kim's character at the end too, like
Yeah.
more how they introduced her mom and like
Yeah.
what she was like, and basically like how that formed her relationship with Jimmy and stuff. And
yeah,
And like breaking the rules and stuff, kind of.
used to
Yeah.
somebody in that
Why
relationship.
she likes it.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah, it
that
was
was
Hell
really
yeah.
interesting.
She's gonna
Well-
be Ray Seahorn's gonna be in Vince Gilligan's next show on Apple.
Hell yeah.
Oh, Apple show. Okay.
Yeah, we'll
Decent.
see. I'm definitely there.
Didn't they already order like 2 seasons of it too?
I think so. I think yeah, at least one. I know, but yeah,
See,
maybe.
you're not going to get
Confidence.
confidence in that. Like
You
in
said
an
it's Vince
AI
Gilligan,
for
too?
that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For
Vince
2
Gilligan.
seasons, yeah. I mean, hey, I'd do it.
I'm there.
I'd give him 2 seasons.
Dude knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, holy shit.
There's a hint that it's gonna be like vaguely like sci-fi-ish too.
Yeah.
So
Back to his
Nice.
X-Files roots.
my boy
Hey.
knows what I like.
Yeah.
Wait, so Vince
Uh,
Gilligan wrote X Files?
He was
Yeah, he was like a main writer
Yeah.
Holy
behind it
shit!
after a while.
I didn't know that. Maybe I should go back and watch X Files.
It's so.
I mean, I
much,
know
dude.
it's
I
pretty
tried.
popular,
It's
but
a
like,
lot.
yeah. I mean, like,
I
so
tried.
not worth it, you'd say,
That's like 22 episode seasons for like 8 seasons.
dude. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is fucking wild. Like, I don't know.
It's crazy. Great
Yeah,
show.
but
I mean, what I
like,
watched,
you
I
gotta
liked.
put
Not a lot of content.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah. Well, speaking of content and shows that aren't going on forever anymore, shall we get into some of the shows this week?
Yeah.
Yeah. Get into the
Sure.
meat.
Not huge notes for me, but if you want to ease in with Ted Lasso, what'd you guys think of last week's episode? Which I guess maybe we should like catch up because it drops on Tuesday nights. So I don't know if you want to like catch up sometime or at least for the last episode, catch up, you know, but
We can
was
try.
thinking
I
that
don't know.
Today.
It's up to
Yeah.
you because they come out on Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
Tuesday nights.
I mean,
think
like
around,
when we were
8
on
or something.
Monday, I mean, we had to watch Succession before. I mean, I feel like it won't
Yeah.
be that different. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's if
be
you guys
down.
could do it. You know what I mean? So
I'd be down to catch up, but that's just me.
Yeah,
Next
me
week
too.
too.
I think I'd be down to try. Yeah.
I mean, it's almost towards the end here anyway.
Yeah. What'd you
Yeah.
guys think? I didn't watch this last episode actually, so I'm an episode behind.
Oh,
2,
my
technically.
God, dude, you would have loved this one.
I don't
This
know
was
about-
the episode that
I-
was going to turn it around for you, man.
I had
I
heard
mean,
things
like-
about the episode. Don't get me wrong. I stay up to date on the news. It just
I heard it. I thought it was okay.
Which way is the
I-
wind blowing?
Yeah.
I felt like it was mainly
Oh,
just
negative.
like filler almost. I
was
mean, there
gonna
were
say,
some
this-
things, but like
This was my least favorite episode of this.
yeah,
season.
I
Yeah,
think me
same.
too.
Same here.
I don't know.
I thought this would be the case. So I was watching Succession, and I'm like, I don't think I have time to cram in Ted. So I wanted to though, just because I think that we would be like somewhat on the same page this episode for the first time this season. So
Yeah.
I think the best parts of this episode were with Nate, in my opinion.
Yeah, he was.
Just because I feel like it was interesting that like I feel like now they're really showing that like he's he's starting to realize like what he actually lost, or like how special like it was being with Ted at Richmond. Like, you know, the scene where
Trying
he
to set
pulls
up
all
his
the other
other-
coaches in, and like he's trying to set up the Diamond Dogs, or like I don't know, at the end it was kind of neat when when that chick came in and she finally was like, oh yeah, we're official, like. But then also like they're like he's just sitting there looking at the article of like Ted and his kid like at the West Ham game. So like
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
don't like that?
is his? I mean, I just like don't really know how Nate's gonna be redeemed. Like they're trying to do it
I
through
don't
like
know.
this girl, but I don't
The
like
girl's not
girl
that good
very
either.
much.
She's like kind of a bad person too. So,
Yeah,
like,
so it's like they're kind of just not that good of people, I guess. And
mhm.
sure, I don't know. I mean, when he tries to set up the other squad to be his like emotional support, I was like, sure. I mean, it's just like a semi Ted Lasso thing to do, where it's like trying to draw simple like distinctions, but then he immediately is like the dude's like saying about how his like late parents are doing something. Okay, shut up. Now I'm gonna talk about my girlfriend or whatever. You know, like
Mhm.
you're not helping. You're like, I don't know. I really want to see Nate redeemed to his fullest, because when he starts the
Yeah.
show, he's like a very innocent man who just wants to like do
Yeah,
good. I guess like
Yeah.
I think it's just like I think it just would take more time. I mean, like, look, like
Yeah.
the first season, Jamie's like an asshole, and just look at the fucking development that he's had. I mean, like,
Yeah.
he's like, I don't know, he's definitely my favorite character in the show. And I mean, like, even in this episode, like, you see how much he's changed from the first season. But like now that like Nate is starting off this season pretty much, or like the end of the last season as like an asshole, like he doesn't have as much time to develop. And like I think it was just like hard. I don't know. I think if they had more time, I feel like they could probably do something better. But like
yeah.
I don't know. I wonder if like they had this planned for his character like the entire time. Like,
I'm assuming they did
Yeah.
have the downward trajectory of his character planned,
and they just didn't
at
know how to
least in
bring him back
season
up.
2.
Yeah, I agree though. I feel like it's I don't know, shoddy at best.
Well, like this episode, it's like this was the worst episode because like it kind of felt like it was just like treading water
Right,
and
I
like in
agree.
story sense, and like
I mean,
This is
Keely's
the-
storyline took over the episode, and it has nothing to do with the soccer team. Like, it has.
I mean
nothing to
that's
do
the
with
one
soccer.
story that I
like, kind
felt
of,
like
like,
ended somewhere
uninteresting.
differently
Mhm.
because like apparently that relationship's hopefully on the outs.
I hope
I'd
it's
say,
done.
but,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't want to follow that
Gasp.
storyline anymore. But yeah, I mean, this is the episode where I think you should be like digging in on Nate and stuff to like make those like footholds to do it, or you know, but like because you have the time, in my opinion, because you can make it happen over one season. At the end of the first season, Jamie's definitely not a changed person, but you can like understand like his dad's like yelling at him or something like that, and Ted like sees it and he's like, oh well, I see who Jamie is now, you know, like.
Mhm.
We haven't had like anything that for me, like tangible to latch on to Nate yet, where it's like he's on a path, you know, like except for like him being more confident with like approaching this girl, which to me is like not a signifier of like, I mean, it is a change in him, but it's not like emotional change that I'm ready to like leave the show with. So like,
And,
I'm just
I
worried.
mean,
yeah.
I guess, like, in my opinion, like you said in the first season, I mean, like, he's obviously not confident in himself. And I feel like his problem was his ego got out of control in the second season when they they finally like realized him, and like
Mm.
I don't know, he's a quiet guy, has probably confidence issues, and I feel like his inflated ego boosted that to like in
Uber degree.
yeah, like or just an abnormal level. And I think like now, like especially the scene where he like runs into the shop with the mirror and he actually doesn't spit in the mirror. I think that was supposed to signify that he's like finding confidence or like boosting his confidence in different ways instead
Yeah,
of being
he's, like,
fueled by his ego.
Growing a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Respecting stuff
Like
a little
I
more.
feel like he's just being comfortable with himself instead of you know like
That's
being.
good. I mean, his girlfriend was like saying how he deserves to be happy and or he like stuff like that. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, so maybe
Yeah,
it's a
and
nice push.
The Rupert Nate relationship, I feel like, is based. It's got to be like the crux of something for him, right? Like
It's like
there's
a
got to be
tie to cut.
fallout, right?
Yeah.
Like I would assume in some way.
Yeah.
but-
Because I think he's
Yeah.
starting to realize now that Rupert like doesn't give a shit about him,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
they're different people. I don't know.
Just
Yeah.
not. Yeah, maybe Rupert's not
And then
all
we'll
cracked up to be.
finally get to see that the elevator shaft soon. The elevator
Yeah.
shaft scene soon.
Yeah.
Fiery death.
Yeah. And then I don't know if anybody else wants to talk about some shit. I guess like the other stuff that I had written down. I can keep going if you want.
Yeah.
Go for it, man.
Please.
Like pretty much the first thing I wrote down, because like the episode, I'm pretty sure the episode starts off and it's like Ted's wife and kid are there and with the boyfriend, and I'm like, why would you bring the boyfriend? Like, what a dick move. But
Yeah.
I don't know. And like pretty much the whole episode, like Ted is spending time with his son, but the whole episode he's worried about his ex-wife. And
Mhm.
like, I don't know,
This is why
dude.
boy doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, dude. Like,
I didn't
I'm
see the
kind of
episode,
like,
but
I
I
don't
know he
know.
doesn't fucking matter.
I mean, like, and at the end of the episode, with like Henry like running into the taxi, like right past the dude, like it kind of makes you feel good because he's like he doesn't like his new dad, but like I don't want Ted to get back with his ex-wife. Like I was thinking about
Yeah,
it today
right.
before we started talking about this, and like, look, his marriage didn't work when they were all together. Like just because you're having like, and then they got divorced and they're separated, living in totally different countries. Why would it work now when you're living
Yeah.
in totally different countries? Haven't really talked in like recent times. I mean, like, even if you did get back together, you're gonna go back and like literally nothing has changed. You're in the same situation you were before the show.
And it's
Like,
like a
I
lot
just-
of work.
I don't know. I just feel like I really hope that's not the take that they're going with, because like
Yeah, me
I
too.
don't know.
From the end of the episode, I was like, can we finally did Ted finally like get what he needs to walk away? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
'cause I fucking hope so.
I don't think so,
Well,
dude. Literally, like the
yeah.
last thing that she says to him is something that about the Dave Grohl quote with the drums.
Yeah, it's
like,
like relatable.
He said that same thing
Mhm.
earlier in the episode, and I
Right,
feel like
'cause,
that's supposed to signify that they're like right for each other or something. And like
Mhm.
I don't know.
I was hoping it was more of like they knew each other so well and they were meant for each other in that time.
Yeah.
And like he closes the shutter, turns around, is shocked at how much he could easily move on. Maybe I'm just putting my own
I
shit in there.
fucking
But,
hope.
I got the sense it was like he realized like maybe some redundancy in the relationship or like, something
Yeah.
like that.
he was so worried about the engagement the whole time, and then it doesn't happen, and he maybe realized how dumb it was that he was like worried on that. But I don't know. I
I guess we'll just have to see.
I
don't
mean,
know.
from I feel like a lot of the main story points or character points in this show are just about like relationships, Ted's relationship with the team's relationships with each other,
Mhm.
Roy Keeley, Jamie, Rebecca, all that stuff. So I feel like if it's like moving with and Beard's like toxic relationship, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's I feel like the show has done a good job at like framing what kind of like can make a healthy relationship and communication and stuff like that. So I would hope that that's like the realization they're pushing Ted to,
Mhm.
of like, oh, this this relationship just isn't going to work out no matter how much I try and pour myself
Yeah.
into it.
I mean, I was thinking too, like this episode felt like it was like their relationship is like circling around with nowhere to go. Cause like
Yeah,
Ted's not
right.
saying stuff, she's not saying stuff. Like,
Nothing
But
new
I
is
like-
being
Kinda.
maybe that's
there was
maybe
an
that's
episode
true
a
to a
couple.
divorce though, where it's like nobody really knows the next step, but it's eventually like they're both just going to move on somehow.
I feel like the first instance where you could see that she might be back into Ted was at the end of an episode when he video chatted her about how, and he finally told her that he wasn't comfortable with her dating
Yeah.
the
And she's
doctor
like,
dude.
"Oh, he
Yeah.
can speak things.
I guess like what I would mean is like what I mean is like I feel like that is the change. Like maybe Ted talking to her about shit instead of
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not
Maybe
keeping it
maybe
real.
that didn't happen before. I don't
Right.
know.
You guys are
I don't
really
really.
stretching here to make this make sense for you guys.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
We
I'm just
are.
going to be
It kinda
disappointed
sound
if
like
they
that,
go
yeah.
that route because, like, if it's going to be the biggest disconnect in like television history to think that audience members want them to get back together because, like, that
Yeah.
wife character is, in my
So
opinion, one of the
unlikable.
most unjustified like characters in any universe I've ever seen, and
As with
like
the sun.
has never gotten like her comeuppance, has never gotten like any like talking to, has never gotten like, dude, she brought Ted to her therapist, then had the therapist say that like they needed to like, then dated that therapist. Like,
Yeah.
how can that person be like redeemed
Yikes.
at all? I don't know. I just like don't think
A
like
similar boat with Nate here, man. Like, how the fuck are they?
Yeah.
gonna-
like I understand like Nate's shit, but like, and they like he's viewed in this show as like a negative character, but her
Right.
this wife character is viewed as like, oh, she's Ted's wife, and
yeah.
this, it's like, dude, she deserves to be shit talked on the reg, like
Get Roy.
because she's
Let Roy
such a
have a crack
terrible
at her.
person. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Man.
It's just
I feel like pretty much the only time you see Roy in this episode, he's just like fucking up, and I'm just I don't know, dude. Like I feel like I said it last week. Like Roy has had like no fucking screen time, no development, pretty much at all this season, except for the first episode or first or second episode when they brought in Trent Krim, and you found out that they have a relationship. Besides that, I feel like there's been nothing for Roy. Like I don't know. I just
yeah. I mean,
A little
him and
with
Keely had a
Jamie.
moment today, and then the last
exactly
episode,
that was pretty much it, and like he just
Yeah.
like made her upset by
Fucked it
asking
up.
about like, who it
Mhm.
was for or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I could say like Ted Lasso puts a lot of emphasis on storylines that maybe aren't the best, like, but they commit to them in a way that like they're confident in, which I can respect. But like the Keely Jack storyline could have been taken completely out of this third season to make room for other storylines like that. And it's not like you're sacrificing Keely time, because honestly, I liked Keely a lot more than in the other seasons, because in this last season she's become so immature and like helpless.
Feel
Whereas
she's
like she's
reverted.
fucking boss bitch. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like you just took
right,
it all
yeah.
away. So I don't know. I can understand like why you could like sacrifice some things in the show to make it better. But maybe they realized it, you know. Hopefully Jack's gone. Maybe now there's like 4 episodes left. So like,
I think it's 4. Well, not including
right.
the one last night. That we did.
no, okay. My hope is like this episode is the weakest of the season, because they're at the bridge point of like setup and finale execution now.
Fuck it down.
I'm hoping now they're like thrusting to the great stuff at the end.
You want to stream us all like watching it later?
Yeah, all right.
Let's watch it. Yeah.
It's in a reacts channel. It could be.
I don't know. I mean, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about this episode. I guess,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, really what happened with Keely about getting the stuff leaked. And I mean, you find out that it was Jamie anyway. I guess, like, I don't know. Jack, like, blew that out of proportion, I feel like. I don't know. Jack was, like, obviously embarrassed. I mean, like, Keely even says in the episode that she posts shit like that, like, all the time. Like, there's so many pictures of her online where she's, like, naked or whatever, doing
Yeah.
random shit. I
Like
guess
now she cares.
well, yeah, I guess like I was just wondering like what the big deal even is if like
assuming it's,
outside
like,
of the
because it
relationship.
messed with
was
the
really
company.
just about Jack, yeah.
Well, like she was like, I called my daddy and he said that I should get the lawyers involved, so I had to say something. It's like she's a business person, you know, and like she's a very selfish person from what I've seen. She
Right.
hooked Keely into like her life, it seems like, and now Keely maybe is getting dropped from it, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Still a good show. Weakest of the season for sure, but hopefully, like I said, it's finding its footing to the end. But Succession.
That's one I did watch.
tailgate party nearing the end of this puppy too.
All right, guys.
Getting
What
into
team
it.
are you on?
Like who's gonna be the end? Like it was.
Are you on Team
What did
Kendall, Team
Greg
Shiv,
say?
and I
I'm
guess
on Team
Matson?
Apocalypse.
Kenro.
I'm on Team
Okay.
Kendall.
Who
I
owns
think
Yeah.
who owns the company at the end of the show? Who's the CEO of Waystar Royco at the end? That's the
Kendall
question.
is the only one like making moves for himself. It seems like that we see. So
Kendall might
No.
be on one right now. I think he's
My
just popping off.
My theory still is that Kendall's dead by the end of the show. I
Really?
swear, I think
I
he's
kind of
gone.
like that too. I kind of hope. I don't know.
yeah.
My man, I'm gonna give it to my man
Yes.
Tom. This is for Tom.
I was just
dude.
gonna say, I hope
Tom.
it's Tom.
Yeah. I honestly like. I could see it
That's
kind of
shit.
too. In a weird way, I could see it. So I'm hoping.
I don't know. I feel
He's
like
building
as the
up to
season's
something.
gone on, I feel like
Right.
I've thought like less and less that Tom will be the successor.
Mhm.
I feel like at the beginning of the season, especially the episode where Logan died, I'm pretty sure, because he's like, I don't know. I feel like I just felt it more that like he could be the successor like back then, but I don't know. I feel like the last couple episodes, I'm not really.
I mean,
feeling
he's
it.
getting fired. People don't like him. Like he doesn't
Yeah.
have the importance. Like it's gonna. And I mean, I don't think any sibling owns it at the end. That's why I don't think like there's a winner at the end. You know. So if Shim and Tom implode, like the end of this episode shows them, like it.
What
I
a
don't
scene.
know. I don't think either of them will get it. I don't think Kendall will get it. Roman, I don't think deserves it at all. I don't think he'll get it. Like
Greg,
Connor,
Roman can't handle it.
Correct,
Connor
yeah.
sneaks in as like the only option.
dude, I love how Greg in this episode, like, was firing all those people. I feel like that was just like, I don't know, just like so realistic. Because like I feel
Yeah.
like that shit has been happening like a lot, like recently in real life. So like
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's just so interesting that Greg like. I don't know, Greg like fucking enjoys that. Like it's a fucking power trip for him.
Yeah,
That's just
right.
I see
crazy.
there's a
Like
lot of confusion in the chat.
yeah, like
Can't
Yeah.
answer any questions today.
and then he's
I
talking to
just-
Matson later about how like he
I
could
just
be the guy.
jackknife
You
in
know?
there and slit throats, baby. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Like shit. All right.
Dude, but I also like how the dude with Matson, like his like number 2 or whatever,
Well, Scott-
it's
yeah.
interesting that like Matson and him, I feel like they talk or act in the same way that like the rest of them do, like all the Roys. I don't know. I just thought that was like kind of.
They're all just shitty, petty.
Yeah, they're all
Yeah,
the
you don't give
same,
a
you know.
fuck.
Like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter where you're from; they're all the same fucking people. Like I don't know.
I mean, he was like saying this episode is like, oh, I thought these people would be more like interesting or like more in depth, but oh, this is just shit talking money, you know, or
Yeah.
whatever he said. Like,
Yep.
gossiping money, a room full
yeah,
of
gossip
children.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like, oh, that's what everybody wants.
Much.
It's pretty simple. And everyone there is probably that way. So,
What else did I write down?
I don't know. I thought this one was kind of like similar to Ted Lasso. This is kind of like the vampy episode of the
Mhm.
season, where it's like, yeah, you know, this is Succession. We've watched it. This is you know,
Yeah.
Some
And the-
shit come out.
the Matson being at the party. Like, I didn't really feel many dynamics that I didn't get when they showed up for the deal on the mountaintop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
kind of just flexing with people there in the room stuff. So there wasn't a lot of like development on the end of like plot or character in those
I feel
regards.
like there was really
but-
just like a lot of back and forth between like the teams, like as far as
Yeah.
like Shiv and Kendall go. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
and maybe Roman, I guess. But
The whole Gil, whatever deal they're like basically still trying to kill the deal
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Or like it feels like it's more
now they're
out
gonna
there.
buy Gojo.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
got super
I love,
hyped
like,
about that.
there's-
Kendall
I was
won
sick,
me over
yeah.
there.
See,
Yeah.
He's
you're
like,
right.
we buy
Same.
Gojo, and I'm like, yes, we do.
Reverse Viking this bitch.
Reverse
Yes.
Jesus.
Did his line with like about his siblings though, where he's like, I love him, but I'm not in love with
In
him.
love with
You
it.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Felt that.
it's
Felt
like,
that.
this dude is- he doesn't give a shit, man. He's number one. He's number one.
Dude,
Honestly,
or
Yeah.
for
when he's
it.
talking about his kids and he's like, "This is all for all for them." Like, I'm
It's for a
like,
better
Jesus,
world.
dude. Like, what the fuck? Just shut
Dude,
the
that-
fuck up. Like,
Yeah, come off it.
Yeah.
That cringy ass scene though with Matheson and him, like they're just
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
like, God damn, dude, they're jabbing at each other like jokingly, and it's clearly like not a joke. They're both all they're like fucking heated.
Sweet
Yeah.
numbers, man. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
right.
Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Like,
like
dude,
how
Really good numbers.
it's like the first like oh my god, I'm about to say something super racist. It's called chink in the armor, right? No.
Yeah, Chico.
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
Not
Yeah.
racist.
Oh, phew, thank God.
I mean,
Anyways,
it's thinking of something else.
What are you talking about,
Yeah.
Matt?
Yeah.
Like,
Right?
fuck, I don't know.
Jesus.
But like Madsen's, it's like the first time you see that he like can bleed, I guess.
Yeah.
Where it's like, or it's first chink in his armor, you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's
The
a little
image is quiet.
racy, I think.
Shit,
But
I knew it.
Yeah, take it easy.
Oh
Fuck,
my
guys.
God, guys.
Like,
My
yeah,
name's
yeah.
not involved in this, right? Like,
You just see,
I
drop
just-
out. Everybody drops out of the fucking stream. Like, oh god, oh
Hide
god.
anything.
But having like two Indias. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
this man's just kind of bullshitting everybody. He seems like he's been all there, but he's obviously just
Right.
playing everybody too.
see, when they went and visited him, I was starting to think like there's something shifty about this guy. Like I felt like he was full of shit. I mean, obviously he's full of
Hmm.
shit to an extent, but I was like, he's got to be more full of shit. Like the reason he wants to close this deal so fast, there's got to be a reason.
Mhm.
Obviously, there is,
True.
but
Truth.
yeah,
He's like over flexing
maybe
the
a
whole time.
couple reasons.
right. Yeah, well, one
Double.
the PR lady or his comms lady that he sent his blood to, and then obviously his numbers.
Yeah,
he
right.
needs
Yeah.
to
The fucking
get money.
blood.
Fucking
Yeah.
shade shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so I guess we'll just see what happens. I don't know.
Yeah.
As far
Yeah,
as
I
that
like
good stuff goes,
The
like,
tone of this episode, I thought the party, like anytime there's a party and the Roys are involved, like it's gonna be entertaining, like at the
Yeah.
very least.
you know, I was thinking, these people, do they ever like go home and sit on their couch and like pop on a movie? It's like they're
Nah,
always like
dude.
in a plane, driving around the city, meeting people for something.
Kendall's
Like,
always on the grind, man. That dude don't
It-
sleep.
Is it
He
like
just-
worth it? I just, you just kind of want to.
No man.
See
Tom
what's
needs
in
to.
popular
Tom just needs some
culture.
sleep. You know, he just wants to fucking rest.
It's a crash.
Yeah.
God,
dude. And then they added, they brought back Nate. His name's Nate,
Hmm.
right?
Oh yeah.
I don't
yeah.
know. It was kind of.
It was well done. I was kind of cringing at the thought of bringing that character back, but he
I
actually
thought so too, kind of.
eased in and out nicely.
Yeah,
Tom's
Just love-
reaction to it was pretty good.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, and I mean, this episode is kind of like mid as far as Succession goes, which means it's still fucking good, obviously. But the end, I think, is top tier. Obviously,
Oh,
with
yeah.
Tom and Shiv. I mean, great fucking scene, dude. I mean, everything that they needed to say for the whole show, obviously came out all at once. But
right?
yeah, I don't know. It's I was kind of like on the hope train of being like a power couple for these two, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it all
It
just
was-
disintegrated.
It was like the
My boy
relationship was
Tom.
like, obviously it was dying, but like it had their one last breath of, or the one day where they're like,
Yeah.
oh, this person's better, and now it's fucking dead. So
Back to it, yeah.
Scorpions.
I don't know. It's good. I mean, that relationship was clearly troubled from the very first
yeah.
scene that you saw them. So it's inevitable in
I
every
mean,
way.
like the first
but
season.
in the
Yeah.
first scene, yeah, it's like those two shouldn't be together. You know, like
yeah, it was.
or
Yeah.
she doesn't love him that as much as he does. Like it's
I mean, they
clear.
were making
like,
jokes at the wedding about how long the marriage is gonna last. You
Right.
know?
I mean, like I love the like
That's always a
jabs
good
back and
sign.
forth because like Tom is like they both have pretty good points, but Tom just has like haymakers of like you were gonna send me to prison, like all these
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and he's like
Honestly-
you didn't. I don't think you like love me like more. Like you probably just thought like 4 years. Like it's like all these like super like personal things like were and
All
the
valid.
rating of that scene was just so good.
Tom was
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, I was in more of his corner. Obviously, I just feel like he has more valid points of like, hey Shiv, you've never treated me properly, which she
valid.
hasn't.
Yeah.
And she's
She's
mean,
just
it's
saying
all
how he's
valid
like a
stuff.
hick from nowhere, like land
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Him saying how
Minnesota,
she should
right?
never have a kid too. I
Yeah.
mean,
yeah.
what were you saying though?
Me?
Yeah, what you said, Joe?
Oh, I was just saying I think he's from Minnesota.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I don't
I
remember.
I
He looks
briefly
not that
remember
bad.
him saying something about how his parents are like rich lawyers or something, or best lawyers in Minnesota or something. Minneapolis. I want to say that, but I don't know. I could be
Yeah,
wrong.
probably.
Here, I'll just look it up real quick.
But I mean, great scene to end it or whatever. I mean, we're here at the end of this. Like these were characters' journeys too, so it's nice to like be able to just like burn through shit like this or
Yeah,
like get
so
it
just
all
see
done and
someone
out of the way.
Cap it off. Yeah.
Yeah. But it also leads into I'm assuming that this episode's gonna be this next one's gonna be a banger. Like the
Yeah.
election And like
It's-
Tom's
yeah.
kind of like charged up for something now. We don't know what he can do in ATN now. Like,
Wild card.
yeah,
I-
what's
yeah,
he
I
gonna
loved-
do?
I loved when he came back in the house after him and Jib talked, and he was just like, "All right, get the fuck out, guys. Nice
Forgot about
having
it.
you. I'm
Not a
tired.
joke.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Tommy
Like,
boy's going to bed. Get the fuck
Yeah.
out." Yeah, that was
It's like so sad too because no one is like taking him seriously.
Right.
Like they're all just like laughing at him. Like,
Still
it's like,
hanging.
God damn.
yeah.
there was one more thing. Oh, I hope Connor pulls through. Like he's got my vote. That guy,
Right.
you know, come on.
Be next
Let's-
prez.
But yeah, I really
was
like
the
the
last
scene
one?
where he's like, I visited Dad again. And I woke up on the right side of the coffin today.
Yeah, I love when he's like when he's like deliberating. Him and Roman are like kind of like fucking around, dealing like where he can be an ambassador.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's like pitches
Little
Oman.
too car bomby for me.
Yeah, right. Little too carbo. Poor man's Saudi or a rich man's Yemen. Could work. Like,
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
playing his hand well. You know, it's
Yeah,
a little
like-
hand he has. He's
how he
Mhm.
came back though, and he was like, "There's only one person in this room that like roots
was
for me
nice.
and stuff, and she's my wife or whatever." And I was like,
mm.
"I love you, man."
Power
So-
to you, brother.
It's
Yeah.
weird how he's like the most like normalish now, or like the most
Yeah.
down to earth at the moment.
Well, yeah,
in the
like the
show.
line that caught me by surprise when he was talking, like when you were talking when they're at the dinner table, was he's like, you know, it feels. I forget exactly what he was like. Doesn't it feel like better, you know, how not here he is, like,
Yeah.
you know, and it was, I don't know, the silence after that followed after. It's clear that like he's the only one that feels that way,
Right.
which maybe it's just
Only
like
one kind of handling it.
the first son, you know, the whatever pressure comes with that and that kind of
Right.
stuff.
I
But-
mean, when he died, the only thing he had to say was, "Oh, he never really liked me, anyways." You know, so
who needed it? Who needed the love?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I vibe with Connor. I think I always have in a weird way. I'm an oddball or whatever his weird following. I know he's got like a name for it. I think.
On heads.
the
Con
Conheads.
heads. I'm a con head. End of the day.
Same here, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. See who comes out on top.
Shall we move into our final discussion?
Diving
Let's do
in.
it.
Should anybody want to intro this one? Just toss a
Yeah, yeah.
quick intro.
We're back again with another director's dive. David Fincher. This was supposed to come before 7, according to the lore. Which I can sort of see. We'll get into it. This is supposed to come before 7, but Brad Pitt was able right then and there to do 7, so he did that one first. And now he's got Michael D, son of Kirk Douglas.
Yes,
Who was the wrongfully casted as Spartacus back in the day. We won't get into that. But yeah, we're back. We're in this next dive of David Fincher, and it is The Game. First time watch for me.
Same.
It's funny you said that little bit about Michael Douglas and Kirk Douglas, because like I told my dad I had watched this and like that I was doing a director's dive with you guys,
Mhm.
and he's like, "Yeah, I really like Kirk Douglas. Michael Douglas is fine."
Michael's fine.
Watered down. Yeah.
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 Nothing like his dad.
Yeah, his
But,
son's okay, but kind of
yeah.
sucks.
I've watched this one like 10 years ago, so I'm the only one that's seen it. So I'm curious what your guys' takes are first on overall impressions.
I mean, this is definitely his sloppiest that I've seen.
Yeah.
It feels like. I mean, they kind of lose the concept of time and space there at the end when they're trying to get all the pieces to
Oh,
come
yeah.
together, and because I mean, they really milk it out in that second act, kind of the first act too, but they
Yeah.
really got to like pull out all the stops and get everything where it needs to be, and to get it there, it's like, can we climb 20 stories in 30 seconds? Maybe.
Yeah.
Can we
Like I
survive
feel like there were a
falls?
lot of things like to build suspense that just like were either unnecessary or just kind of like
play
out of
out.
place, or like
Yeah.
like you said about the timing. I don't know, like for instance, like like at the beginning in like the first act when the weird shit starts happening with the TV and he's like, "Where's the kid?" Like he's ripping apart his TV, and I'm like,
Where do
"Dude,
you
it's in
think
the
the fucking
fucking
camera
clown."
is?
Like,
Yeah.
no shit. Like, like what the fuck, dude? Like, there was
Yeah.
another point in the movie where I thought that same thing, and like, it's just like, I don't know, just like a weird way of thinking. I don't know. I feel like it was just kind of forced, like sometimes, like his view or his acting, I guess, like
Yeah.
the character, like how he viewed what was going on.
Mhm.
It seemed a little out of pocket, some of the stuff that he would do, because it just didn't feel like the way they set up his character. It didn't feel like he would do those things. I mean,
Mhm.
even if he was enticed by his brother being like, "Oh, it's a great experience," but hearing all these other plebs talk about how it's a great experience, I don't think he'd be like, "Oh, I heard him talking in the locker room. I think I'm gonna give it a whirl now." I don't know. The way they set up his character, he seems pretty set in his ways and not really
Yeah.
down to clown with that petty shit. But
Yeah.
Oh, I guess in the very beginning, totally getting Succession vibes, right? With the intro.
Dude,
Pretty
that's
much
like
the same
straight
yeah.
intro,
ripped.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
like
That's crazy.
I mean, holy shit, like
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the family vintage vibe. The
Yeah.
dad's like absent, walking away. Like
Mhm.
I was just like,
that
oh, so
was another
everybody's
thing
just stealing
too.
shit, and mixing.
They like
Okay.
really hyped. They like brought it up like 3 times at the beginning about like what happened to his dad. You like
Yeah.
like over the course of the first act, you kind of like find out what was up with his dad. Then like I feel like they didn't mention it again until like the very end. But like I knew that's how like I knew that's what was gonna happen to him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that was like I guess I'm still like debating if that was like well done or if like there was just I don't know. I guess is that technically a Chekhov's gun? Is that or am I thinking I don't know. I
It's
don't
just
know. Like,
foreshadowing, I'd say.
okay.
Also, who reads off their account number with a stranger in their car with them and is just like, "Hey, you want to check
They
these numbers?
swin-
What's your
Yeah.
shit? Oh, here's my
They
very
swindled him.
confidential shit. I trust you." You know?
Man, can we talk
yeah.
about car phones for a sec too? Like
Those were the things.
holy shit. How were those legal? Like and when did they stop existing? Because I feel like when I was a kid, like I didn't see
Like
any
a
car phones
10-year
in real
gap or
life, or maybe
something.
it's just like for rich people. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
They're only like big for like 10 years or something.
yeah.
Tree cars.
But I mean, I feel like the main problem with this wasn't the directing. I think that was solid. I think it was just the concept and the source, like the writing of it. It was just like he did what he could with the source material, which is an interesting concept. I mean, if I just feel like maybe a mini series could have been better to kind of flesh it out a little more because it did feel rushed in the last act because that or like trim up some of the fat off of the first and second acts. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
And
And I
second act
agree.
pretty
Like I
much
feel like there
especially.
was just so much shit that happened in the
Yeah.
third act. Like and then the first and second were just like moving kind of slow.
It was
I don't know.
meandering and like
So
the
weird.
whole he met the waitress, they get trapped, and then they go their separate ways. I feel like that was like okay, that's good, but it could have been trimmed up a little bit to give us more meat onto leading us up to the big finale. I don't know.
Mm.
That's my opinion. I
Yeah.
just feel like the material that he had to work with was the problem. It wasn't his directing. I feel like the directing was obviously it was good, but anyway.
So let me ask you this: like getting through the movie, were you ever like flip flopped on like if CRS
No.
was actually like you thought that it was just the game the entire time?
Like the
I
woman
kinda
was
did
so
too.
obvious about everything.
That's the
like
point. Yeah, that's the problem.
I know,
that
like
she was like everything she did. It was just like, oh, okay, well, she's part of the crew. Part of the ship, part of the crew here. Blah blah blah.
I know.
We're going through. She was the worst part, and it kind of just ruined the whole like immersive experience. The way she like looked at him when she was in the car when he was reading off his information. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
could you be more obvious? Or like when
Yes.
she disappears to go get changed in her own house, and I don't know.
Mhm.
She
Yeah,
ruined the
that character
experience.
made no sense. It was just clearly like a like plot element. We needed another female
Yeah.
character to like rope him in with because
Then you
I
just
don't
make her
think-
into a love interest at the end,
yeah, I
based
mean,
on some loose shit. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah, this is kind of what I remember from like last time when I watched it. It's just not that interesting, and
I ain't gonna
No,
lie.
no.
I like was dozing. I was having a hard time keeping awake. Like
no,
in
the
first
concept is
act.
solid.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a good premise, and honestly, I
It-
think Sean Penn is like on point as like
He's good.
the character he's trying to portray, the brothers stuff
Mhm.
going on. But that dynamic like was shifted, like it shifted a lot. It like anytime him and Michael were together, it's like they fell back into a character that we weren't seeing with Michael when he's you know what I mean? Like I think you mentioned it, Alex. It was like some of Michael, like it was just unbelievable some of the stuff Michael's
Yeah.
character was doing. So like once he kind of got reeled in with Sean Penn with his brother, it was like, okay, I know this dynamic, but like this still kind of feels off. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but Yeah.
Especially when he's like talking to his brother about how he's like kind of was a junkie and stuff. It's like he
Mhm.
clearly sees and has a place in his mind of what his brother is. So like I don't know. I just don't believe that he would take his brother's word for this fun experience or anything that his brother says. He would take it. I mean, I get the idea of like, oh, we have those things where people go through these addictions and then you want to believe that they're better, but uh, just Michael Douglas's
Yeah.
character didn't feel like that kind of character to be like, oh, I'm in your corner now, bud.
Mhm.
I mean, I was fine with this character making the decision because, like, he's kind of like a. I mean, Michael Douglas was a good pick for this role because I haven't seen Wall Street, but I'm pretty sure he plays like a very energetic killer, fucking money, money, money character.
Mhm.
And this is kind of like Gordon Gekko, like 10, 20 years down the road, where he's like burnt out and doesn't have really much to care about. I kind of got those vibes where it's like he's the guy who needs the game for some reason, you know? So, like,
Yeah.
he's looking for something in his life. And then I think the shot of like the dudes, like where he's like, "You guys heard about the game?" And they're like, "Oh, you're gonna do the game?" Like, that's enough to sell me on like, oh well, I don't have to just take his brother's word now, where it's like it's this thing people know about. I'm gonna that. So I was
Yeah.
the questionnaire and the hook of like getting in there and getting into the CRS and like them like giving a physical and stuff like that. That hooked me pretty well,
Same.
and it's like kind of
Yeah.
like he commits to the mystery where like therefore like I commit to the mystery as like the audience member. So that was pretty well done. I don't know. Like you said, I think it's just like to me, I came back like this movie needs like a dual setup and it doesn't have a dual. It needs like another reason that someone else would be fucking with Michael Douglas's character
Yeah.
or another entity that
Somebody
he
else in the
questions
game,
if it's
maybe?
them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to like they're constantly like peeling back layers in this movie, but like underneath is like the same layer. So it's like
Yeah.
you
That's what
know the whole
I
time it's just
felt.
them fucking with him, you know, like
Yeah.
there's nothing outside of that mystery to make it you
Right.
just you needed another like pass to make it hookier to make the story like make sense, you know, like
Drawn
for
in
sure.
because that's what I felt like, and partly I think partly the editing. I don't know. I just wasn't a huge fan. Like you said, maybe it was like time constraints or whatever. Like they're trying to
Yeah.
piece some of the stuff together. The editing just felt a little choppy to me because of that reason. And probably not like wholly the editor's fault. Probably just
I couldn't really
but-
tell you the like any directing that stood out to me, honestly,
No,
for like
yeah.
Fincher's like stuff either. So like
yeah, right.
You know, like I guess, like I don't know. I've been thinking about what you just said, and I don't know. I guess it's like part of the reason why he does the game or like goes to CRS is because like he's just bored with his life because he pretty much has everything.
Sure.
But I think if you introduced like I don't know some other person as an antagonist, like I don't know before he goes to CRS or like after. I don't know. I guess after wouldn't matter as much, but if you introduced an antagonist before he went to CRS, I could feel like I could see that like influencing his decision. Like it wouldn't be as big, like him going there because like now he actually has something to like work around, like somebody else. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Like I was just like thinking like you could have shifted Sean Penn's character to be more unbelievable or more like he's fucking with you. And then you could have had like your best friend be the guy who's like, you hear about the game? You know, like
Yeah.
or vice versa. You know, just
Yeah.
have somebody there that's like, is it this guy? It's gotta be like this guy because he does shit like this. You just need something, you know,
Yeah.
to make me like question and make it interesting. But it just
Right.
I don't know. I got notes on like the score too. I think the score really drags down this movie as much as it tries to elevate it. It fucking like it's constantly just like and like piano like
Yeah.
like it's like throughout the whole movie it never ceases. It feels like so like if you just gave me those, if you even had like the same boring layering that you have right now with like jolty score when it like a mystery happens or something cool happens. It'd just be I think it'd still be a better movie in general because like
Yeah.
it would just emphasize things more because everything just blurs together in this movie, you know, like so.
For sure.
Mhm.
It felt like what you said earlier. The first act, there was so much attention to the detail where I was like, okay, the payoff's going to be great.
Right,
Because
you think, yeah.
Right. Because I mean, the tests and stuff, I was in. I was ready for it. But then as soon as like the game, I guess, started, I was just kind of like, oh, so this is the path we're going down. All right. I guess I'm here to see how it ends. But it was just so
Yeah.
predictable and just unbelievable at times where it's
Dude.
like, okay, how many people did you hire? How much is this? How did his brother afford it?
Yeah.
I feel like once his ex-wife called him and said like, this is you're 48 or whatever. This is like when your dad committed suicide.
Yeah.
I don't know. And
It's
then you
like-
find out his dad jumped out of a roof. I knew that's how
Yeah.
that's how it's gonna end. You
Yeah.
know, like I don't know. And dude, I also like this isn't really anything with like the plot, but like I thought it was hilarious because like at the party at the end, like she straight up just like kisses him right in
Yeah.
front of her husband. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Yeah,
weird.
that was weird.
Not that it's. I mean, like they're probably just comfortable with each other. I guess. I mean, they're characters. Who cares? But like,
Yeah.
I just thought it was kind of funny. I don't know.
No, I don't think my mom and dad would ever kiss again. Then just
Yeah.
be like cool with it, you know? It just
Yeah.
that's a weird
Yeah.
thing.
Right. Like. Yeah.
Yeah, I was on like
don't
plot hole watch for the second watch. I was like,
Yeah.
something's gotta really not make much sense here, but I think it all, I guess, kind of checks out. Everything checks out for me. Like the newscaster, like sure, you could probably pay off the newscaster or doctor the
Yeah.
footage or whatever they did, but
Yeah, I feel like you could use that, just paying people off as
Yeah, I
like
mean, they
a
pay off, like,
response to
everybody.
anything. Yeah, exactly.
the only
So,
thing
like,
that's like, okay, I mean, you guys, the biggest leap is literally the jump off the roof, where it's
Yeah.
like, if you jump to the right, you fucked everything
You're
up.
done.
Like,
yeah.
so it's like, that's the one point where it's like supposed to be the cathartic climax of like, it is the game. Oh shit! It's like, but then you're like,
a flip.
yeah, or like, what if he lands on his head?
Form.
You know, like
Yeah.
it's like, like that moment is supposed to be like everything, and then
Yeah.
you're sit there like questioning, like, wait, what the? They knew he was gonna jump
Yeah.
through that.
You know,
Like,
I also thought it was like
I mean,
I thought it was
What
like
the fuck?
kind of weak how they I don't know, they like connected him at the diner with his ex-wife when he gets back from Mexico, him watching just the commercial and finding out the dude is an actor. Like I know, I mean, they played the audio of the commercial. Like you couldn't hear the audio of the TV at all before that. But like I don't know, what if he didn't see that? Would they just try to get him again?
keep
later.
running the ad or whatever.
I don't know. Like I guess I just I don't know. You
Yeah.
know, like
There's
was
a
that
lot of
planned?
little
I don't know.
things.
Yeah, like if
Yeah.
he didn't pick up on that, then where would it go? You know what I
Right,
mean?
and that-
Like
that's a huge problem. I mean, a lot of it was left up to chance. I mean, the jump off the roof, him seeing this, him picking up the guy's gun and shooting it at the tire instead of somewhere
Yeah.
else. I mean,
And like no one reacting to the gunshot. I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, there was
Like,
like
was it
weird-
going straight
right?
into the water and him pulling out the thing and being like, "Oh, this is the
Exactly. I was like, oh, he has the crank, but not the gun with him. Why didn't he
right."
keep the gun with
so
him?
much.
I guess, like,
chance in
yeah.
that
Yeah,
game.
it started to feel a little convenient for me.
I guess
Yeah,
the only
that-
thing I could say is like if everything is just on the fly, like the plan is always like in motion.
That's what
and
I would
there's no set
assume. There's
plan.
like investigators or like constantly people watching him.
That's like
constantly
the only.
following.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
It's
guess
like the
yeah.
only thing I could. I don't know.
And like again, another thing with the waitress is like they go back to his office and she just is like, "I'm gonna take off my shirt here. You mind if I use your shower?" It's like, okay. I mean, could you be more obvious as to setting this up for the next stage,
Yeah.
which is the scandalous pictures?
Dude,
and all that
also
stuff?
that was like the next thing too. Like I know that they were trying to use that for blackmail, but who the fuck cares? You're just some
Right.
millionaire or billionaire or
Mhm.
whatever the fuck. Like, aren't you doing that all the time? Or don't people do
Right.
that all the time in the fucking
Can't be doing coke, bro, in hotel rooms anymore.
really not? Like why not? Like
Yeah.
who fucking cares? Like
The point of hotel rooms nowadays?
like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought that was kind of dumb. Like I feel like you could have taken that out. Like, and I know that was the only reason they brought that in was to bring up that
Bring
one
back
dude
the
that he was trying to
waitress
push
character.
out. Oh yeah, that too. I
That-
guess.
Yeah, that too.
But
I
like, I
guess.
mean, yeah, the book guy, the guy in charge of the publishing company. You know.
Right.
The
Yeah.
mob head from Eastern Promises with hair.
I didn't even draw that. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean,
yeah, It,
No,
it
go ahead.
felt convenient in place like that part. The waitress essentially took you out of the whole experience because she was just so blatantly obvious. And maybe that's
Yeah.
her role as this person in the game, but it kind of made it sound like she was like the leading the charge here at the end, where she's like, "Oh, I gotta head off to this next thing." It's
I
like,
mean,
I feel like you'd be a little bit more seasoned to be a little bit more discreet, make it more immersive.
yeah. I did question
Sorry,
too
the
how
back.
long it was going on, because when she spills shit on Michael Douglas in the restaurant right at the beginning.
Yeah.
He's like, you almost did the same thing to me last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So she's been working there for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But when did he start the game?
She
Like,
says at one point in the movie when she started there too.
Yeah.
But I don't remember
Yeah.
if it was I don't remember the time frame. But
right.
also, I mean, like, look, if you're Michael Douglas's character and you get a note from some random dude that says don't let her get away, and then she plays dumb, like, wouldn't you think that she's involved in the game?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like
You're already sus.
I would
Yeah.
automatically assume that she's involved,
Well,
regardless
also,
of what she says. Like,
she tells him that some person paid him $400 to spill on his suit or whatever. So
That
it's
is
like I
true.
think she's like, that's all I know, you know. But like, if you're a rational person, you'd be like, well, so
I don't know.
in
I
on
guess
it
like
somehow. Like,
I guess like what yeah, right? Like what I meant is like why would they have you follow her if there was like nothing came from it?
Yeah.
just
Like
to keep
nothing
an eye
came
on
from
him or-
that little sequence.
Yeah,
Well, when they
yeah,
like the guy on the street like has a heart attack or whatever, and then they go to the fake hospital that ends up being CRS, and it's like
Mhm.
like that whole sequence didn't really like lead to anything. So like if you're
Yeah.
Michael Douglas's character, wouldn't like after that, wouldn't you assume that she's in on it? Especially with the red bra thing in the pictures. Like, I don't know. I
Right.
just feel like it would to me, I feel like I would assume that she's involved.
yeah.
Like, I don't
for
know.
sure. It's like you have to hand wave it away because we need like a
Yeah.
little bit of romance in the movie. That's really
Yeah.
it. Like,
And we need to propel the movie forward somehow, right? I mean,
mhm.
and talk about chance too. Them jumping into the dumpsters. What if Michael Douglas was just like
I
a couple
was
inches
thinking that
back?
same thing.
His head
Just like
bonks
misses
that?
the dumpster and
Yeah.
breaks his fucking legs.
Yeah.
Oh, the game's over. All right.
He's like shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of little things like that where it's just like, well, that could have been the end of it. Oh shit.
Right. Which I mean, usually, I mean that's fine to get the movie because that's the whole concept of the movie is the game. But when you have such a well put together first act and then it leads to this kind of sloppy second and third act, it just kind of feels like you had such good setup, put that much attention to that detail in those acts.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be as absurd as it was to get to that final part. I don't think it
Right.
didn't have to be the whole chase gun shootout thing. Just little
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
like that where it could have
Yeah.
been a little bit more grounded, and I think it would have been more successful.
You know, I feel like
Agree.
even calling the movie like the game, I feel like that like
It's like
inherently
promising something.
flaws the movie because like I don't know, I feel like they tried to like read like I asked you guys if you like fell for it and actually thought it wasn't a game or thought he was like actually getting some money stolen, and you all said no, right? I mean like
Mm.
I thought the same thing, and it's like the movie is called The Game. I mean like he's playing the game, like it's obvious to the viewer that like he's getting fucked with like
Mhm.
I don't know, like so I guess like to a certain degree like the suspense is taken out for the viewer because like you know that like at the end it's just going to be fine because they're just fucking with him the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like but he's the one who's stressed out. Like I don't know. I guess it's just like
I think
like-
it's gonna be okay in the end.
if you're watching
yeah.
a thriller, I feel like you're going to raise the suspense if you don't know what happens. But like the
Mhm.
whole time if you know that it's just the game, then like I feel like it kind of takes some of the suspense out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
they're trying to toy with like, is it the game the whole time? You know, to
Right.
me the problem
Yeah.
is like you promise too much with like the
Right.
game,
Yeah.
the fun, the miss, like, and then you have nothing to back it up with. You know, like
Yeah.
that's I don't.
Yeah,
They
maybe
really built it up, and it was just kind of like,
It's like
the wet
you
shit.
the game
So
sucks.
you're saying-
your game sucks. Like you can't
Like,
give me
stupid.
a movie
If
called
it
The
was more
Game. and
convincing,
it's
you
bad.
think it would be
Yeah.
okay?
It's just
I
a little
think-
bit
Yeah,
weirder.
it'd be a way better movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I think if they did more to maybe like make it seem like Michael Douglas's character's actions were like what were I don't know, like add some confusion in Michael Douglas. I don't know how Douglas's actions to
Well,
like
that's
make it seem like he's driving like
Right.
these events, you know?
The game
rather than
sucks because
stuff
like you're just on the
happening around
street.
it. Right.
Yeah, 100%. Because he's just like on the street and a homeless dude falls over and it's like, this is
Okay.
what is the game
Yeah,
for? Like I don't like
right.
yeah, just like it's supposed to get you at your blood pumping so that you can like get in an ambulance. It's like nothing is like you said, no, it's just he's not propelling anything. He's getting dragged. And at a certain point, any person would just be like, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm walking away. I'll take
You know,
a plane and like dip.
Yeah.
It's
And
like Was it when he got done? Was he satisfied with his birthday gift? I mean, was that a fun
Seemed like
game?
it.
Right?
Everyone's like, "Oh,
Right.
the experience is like they build it up to
I
be this
feel
great
like-
experience," and he's just like, "You jumped off a
Like,
fucking
what?
building. Was it that good of an
Yeah.
experience?" And you, when
Yeah.
you
I mean,
got out
like-
and you saw the shirt, you're like, "Oh, I get it. It's a joke." No,
I
that's
will
fucked up.
say he is definitely a changed
yeah.
character. Like at the end,
Yeah.
like is like
Yeah.
I don't know if
He's
like
gone
that.
through an emotional crisis of sorts,
deny
like
it,
to get
right.
in
Yeah.
there enough.
Drove
I
him
mean-
to the point where he was comfortable enough to jump off that fucking
Right.
building. So,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Lackluster. I mean, I don't
It's
know.
kind of interesting that you were saying, Alex, that this was like. So, did he write this before he wrote Seven, or like what? Like,
I think he
what was the
wrote it,
time frame?
Somebody else wrote it, but it was like slated to start filming this one. But then Brad Pitt got back and was able to do Seven right then and there. That was like where it fit in Brad Pitt's schedule, and so they
Okay,
ran with Seven first. So
Well, that's probably
Imagine-
good because if this one was first, I don't know if
Yeah,
he would have
dude.
done very
Yeah,
well after.
with
Especially
Alien
after
3 and then
Alien.
this, like,
Right.
yeah,
I think this movie was like decently well received though at the time. Like
It
I
was,
think
yeah.
people like it more than maybe we do.
Yeah.
Like it's
Mhm.
cool, but it's just not interesting enough.
It's
you know?
it's a great premise. I feel like it's a premise
Yeah.
that people have reused because it's so good.
yeah.
Probably just
And-
perfected.
fucking
Movie's
rich
probably
people.
watered down by now by this like idea of subverting your expectations and stuff through this like elaborate game ruse type shit. Because
Escape
this was
room.
1997,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I
97,
mean,
97.
this is
It's
probably
like,
a fresh, cool idea back then.
for sure.
Right.
It's pre like American Psycho too, which was like
Yeah.
the big like corporate lens weird movie. It's
Yeah.
before that one too, so it was onto something for sure. It just
Right.
didn't have the modern sensibilities to really push it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But we forgive you, Fincher, because I'm
Yeah.
excited for the next movie, man. I mean, we're not
Oh.
supposed to talk about it, but
Fight Club.
we
right?
will. We will next.
So hype.
Well, we don't talk
Son
about
of
it.
a-
Oh
Leave him
shit!
out.
Am I not?
Get him out of the call.
What? I
Get
thought
him
you
out
were
of
talking
here.
about the next. Oh shit!
You know where to meet in the dingy
I'm just like
basement
gone
of that
next
bar.
week. Like,
Has everybody seen Fight Club?
Yes, sir.
Everybody seen this one?
Yeah.
Okay. This is gonna be a fun chat. I kind of want to revisit it anyway, so
I
it's
kind of
gonna
do
be fun.
too.
Man, I love the narration. The film is fantastic. Yeah, we get into it next week. But
Yeah.
so
First
fucking
rule
good.
about Fight
One
Club.
of
I
the
guess we will.
true.
Oh yeah, I guess we didn't say our ratings. If you want to say the ratings for
Oh,
the
yeah,
game.
What you
I
got?
had it at 3 stars, and I think I'm just gonna leave it. You know, it's got enough like premise and like decent 90s execution to be like better than just a standard 2.5-star movie. Doesn't go any farther than that though, I'd say, for me.
Yeah, my instinct was 3.5, but I think I'll have to go with 3 too.
That was exactly what I wrote down 3.5, but I think I'm gonna drop down to 3.
Yeah,
I don't
just fits better. It's yeah.
Could be 3. I mean, this is definitely his Fincher's weakest movie, I'd say. If not counting Alien 3. You know,
I was gonna
but
say like
is like out of his like brand of movies, this one is
Yeah.
so far the ones I've seen, it's the weakest.
I'm between a 2.5 and a 3. Haven't decided yet. It's I don't know. It just the ending did not sell it for me. It kind of just destroyed.
you were kind of
everything.
going in on it.
Yeah, I
Not great.
don't know.
Not great. I don't think like it's one I'd ever revisit of his.
Yeah, no,
I'd
I
probably
don't
revisit
think so
almost all
either.
the other ones, but yeah.
Just like if I'm driven to jump off a roof for this fun game, it wasn't fun, all right? You don't get out
Right.
and offer to pay half the fucking bill. Like, come on. No, you tried to just kill yourself. You realize that,
Yeah.
right? And you're like, hey,
That bar
what's
is
the
free.
cost of my
That
life?
is-
Let me see
Right,
that
like,
bill.
It just comes out like, hey, it was all a ruse. Like
All
you just
true.
tried to commit suicide,
all
but it's
good,
fine.
right?
Like
Cool.
get it?
We're
You get
partying.
it?
Yeah.
Just like that,
we
though,
convinced
huh?
you to try to
Funny
murder
joke.
yourself. Like
Yeah.
Jesus. Like
Like father, like son.
Yeah.
yeah.
Haha, you get it?
You
Yeah.
get it?
Yeah.
It's fucked up. 2.5 or 3. I'll figure it out. I'll pray
Fair.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sleep on it.
Yeah.
Remake this one into a mini series or another movie sometime, and
I
cool.
feel like
It could
that
be
would
better.
work a lot better.
Yeah, I think that was a good idea. I could definitely see this being a pretty cool like HBO or Hulu series or something.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mhm.
Especially with that intro, right?
Seriously. Just put it next to Succession.
Right. After
Yeah.
Succession. The
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
For sure.
works. Work.
Well, thanks for
Yeah.
listening to another Director's Dive, guys, and join us
Yeah.
next week to talk about the movie we don't talk about. Have a good week.
That's right.
How do people know what's next?
Yeah.
So
Any
that's how we
other
end it?
Everyone
Is that
knows the
it?
first.
comments? Yeah. What do you got? Any other good shit?
Not really.
No, I just like talking with you guys. I'm just here for it. So
Yeah.